You can sense that it's getting closer to the end of the school year, but I know some of you would rather not know how many days are left because, that's just trouble, isn't it? So instead, welcome back to the Encouraging Words for School Counselors podcast on this something day of May. I'm Matt Fleck with Inspire Success. Thanks for being along with us. We have thoroughly enjoyed chatting this spring with school counselors from around the country who have been recognized as School Counselors of the Year by their peers. The 2021 School Counselor of the Year from Virginia is Kathleen Otal, or Ms. O, who spent 19 years as an elementary school counselor before flipping to older kids in her current role as high school counselor at McLean High School in Fairfax County, Virginia.
One of my favorite things to say is I'm very blessed and lucky because I got to see the first day of school for 19 years for those little kindergartners and the parents with the tissue boxes and crying, oh my gosh, my child's going off to kindergarten. And now I get to see the last day of school where they graduate from high school, and they both require a lot of tissues and a lot of emotions and happiness and joy. But I've got to see the best of both worlds at both ends of the spectrum.
Kathleen really has seen both ends of the spectrum as a school counselor, literally from conception to commencement.
I had one mom, a single mom, who decided to have a child with in vitro fertilization. And so she had one son, and he had a very hard time in school. He had ADHD and he was kind of all over the place. He had a lot of behavior problems, but he was an amazing, very, very smart and intelligent kid. And in sixth grade, he had a particularly hard year. And I was kind of like the moms. She didn't have a husband or a partner or a spouse, and she's just a single mom. So she was very stressed about all these things happening to her son. So I felt like I was kind of like that, a little bit like her partner, like her spouse that she didn't have. Like she would call me and talk about all the problems that he was having. And we ended up doing a behavior program for him where he got to play basketball with me and other kids and his friends. And so I invested a lot of time.
As you can imagine, the student had many behavioral issues, was suspended a couple of times, and was a constant frustration for his mother.
Sometimes she was like, he's not going to make it through. I don't know what to do. But I was like, we can do this. We can do this. And she did behavior stuff for him at home. And so we were kind of like a team. And when he graduated from sixth grade, that was one of the greatest days. And his mom and I were like hugging, and I've stayed in touch with them, and he made it to college. So he's in college now. But, those relationships that you build sometimes through the hardest times, those are the most rewarding to me. When a student struggles, a parent struggles, a teacher struggles, but we work together and they end up succeeding in the end and moving on to the next phase. Like those are the most touching moments.
One of the key roles of a school counselor, says Kathleen, is helping students build resiliency. For some students, it comes naturally, while for others, it takes a good deal of time and coaching.
The biggest thing is anxiety is when we feel like we can't control things. So when I talk with kids, I'll listen and reflect their feelings, but then I'll think what about this situation can you control? You can control your responses, or you can control this part, or let's make a list. Those are the things that I try to do as a counselor, both with the students and with the parents, because I think sometimes when the parents are anxious, then it makes the kids more anxious, So I'm like, well, you need to this is like their problem. One of my friends, I like this analogy. She says to parents, your kid's on a roller coaster, right? But it's their roller coaster. Don't get on the roller coaster with them because that's not going to be helpful. So for us as teachers, as educators, as adults in the lives of these kids, we're here to support them, but not get all wrapped up in the drama of what they're going through. So if we can be like more of a safe place, a stable presence, then that's kind of how we can help build resiliency.
Kathleen has been recognized for her parent programming work, her passion and work in advancing equity, and for starting a very successful girls' leadership program that just keeps growing. But at the end of the day, she says it all comes back to being a supportive, safe harbor for kids.
I had a student say to me a few weeks ago, she sat there and she was asking me, like, she's having a hard day and she needed a place to like chill out for a little bit. And she was asking me, Mrs. Hall, what's it like to be a counselor? Like, what's your day like? And what kind of things do you do? And after she listened to me for a while, she said, it must be really nice to be the safe place for kids. And I was like, yeah, it is. It's really nice being the safe place. It's such a blessing. We're so lucky to have this job.
Indeed. Thanks, Kathleen. As we move closer to summer, note that we will be rebroadcasting your favorite podcasts of the year during the months of June and July. Then in August, our format changes slightly to focus on your unique ideas, suggestions, and yes, stories about your work as a school counselor. The podcast will center around answers to 11 unique questions about school counselors' experiences as school counselors. Also note that Encouraging Words for School Counselors will be at the ASCA National Conference in Austin this summer, so please come by and say hello to us at booth 705, where you can also find more information about our new online program called Ramp Ready to help you build a comprehensive school counseling program, either a very basic one, the ASCA National Model, or even if you want to go for RAMP. Check it out at inspiresuccess.org/rampready. That's it for now. Have a wonderful week.